So, if you haven't practiced Yoga Nidra before, that is absolutely fine. I'm going to talk you through it anyway. If you have, then that is also fine. Your experience each time will be a little bit different. So, generally speaking, for Yoga Nidra, you lay down. You could lay on your back, you could lay on your side. If that's not an option, then you could absolutely sit, but I would advise you to sit up against something so that you've kind of got some support and some comfort for your back, your spine, your neck. Some people like to kind of go all out with the relaxation, get in bed, tuck themselves in. So it's really up to you. It is a still practice. In terms of, it's not a physical yoga asana practice where we're moving. So just bear that in mind in case you need to have a blanket close by, or you need to pop some socks or any extra layers on. And as best you can, you want to try and remain quite still. So we're allowing essentially the physical body just to drop into this place of rest. You might find that you have kind of natural movements to the body. If you become uncomfortable, of course, don't just bear through it and be completely still. Then, by all means, have a little stretch and a move. Just do that intentionally. So, we're trying not to fidget. And if for whatever reason, physical, emotional, something else, you feel like you need to come out of the Yoga Nidra at any point, that is fine. My advice would be that you just open your eyes, take a couple of long blinks, remind yourself where you are in your space, that you are okay. Maybe touch the thumb onto the rest of the fingertips, just one by one. And then you could keep the eyes open for a little bit longer, or you may have just needed that moment and then you can close the eyes and let yourself drop back into the practice. So, all you need to do is listen to the sound of my voice, just follow the direction, the instruction, and it will be your own personal experience because, of course, everyone will interpret things differently. This is the inner workings of your mind. If you fall asleep, that is also okay. We're a very under-rested society, or, good quality rest we don't get enough of. So, you know what? If you doze off, then there's no need to kind of be annoyed when you wake up because you will still have received the benefits of the practice. If you know that you need to be awake at some point at the end of this, then you can always just set a little alarm for kind of 25, 30 minutes. I am a classic sleeper in Yoga Nidra. So if I do know that, sometimes I might practice one at lunchtime and I'll think, okay, it's okay if I drift off, but I actually need to get back up because I've got to go to work or, whatever. Equally, you might find that you drift in and out, a kind of liminal state. That is okay. Just notice where your mind has gone, where your attention has wandered to, and then come back to the sound of my voice. So, if you haven't already, an invitation to close the eyes, or you might cover them with an eye pillow or a flannel, a scarf. So, just drawing awareness inwards. Make any little final adjustments, movements, brush that strand of hair out of the face, tuck that blanket how you want it. so that there are as minimal distractions as possible. We can't control much, really. Definitely not what people might be doing next door or outside. So, if we note that there is noise, sometimes that is just part of the experience, and we just move on from it. So, welcome to this practice of Yoga Nidra. And we've just come to the end of Random Acts of Kindness Week. So, in itself, it's an act of kindness, really, to just allow yourself this time just to be. And we'll also offer ourselves that act of kindness that when we explore our physical body later in the practice, we explore it without judgment and without criticism. If anything, we're exploring it with a sense of wonder, with a sense of gratitude or acceptance, if that's what we need. If our mind starts to latch on to stories or hears a word and creates its own story, then we're kind about that. We just take a breath in, breathe out, and just release from any unneeded, unnecessary, sometimes untrue stories that the mind might create. So we'll begin just bringing awareness to our breath. You might feel that it's right to take a couple of deeper breaths. That could be inhaling through the nose and just sighing out of the mouth. Letting your body just drop into the hold of the earth. And then settle just on your natural breath. In a moment, I'll count from 10 to 0. There's nothing that you need to do, just perhaps be aware of the count. And just be aware that perhaps you're dropping a little bit deeper into the practice of Nidra, or maybe softening into the body, settling into a clarity of mind. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. And you might then bring your awareness just to the space around the heart, so into the chest, center or center left. And maybe from the heart, but often from the mind, and that's okay. There might come a word or an intention. So, because our intention really is kindness for this practice, that might just be your word. That makes it really nice and simple. It's a great word. You might form it into a statement. So, you might know that as an affirmation or a mantra. And it could be, I'm kind to myself, I'm kind to others, I give and receive kindness. So if something is there, lovely. If not, don't force it. If there is something that's there, whether it's just a word or whether it is a statement, Then repeat it 3 times in your mind, nice and confidently, nice and clear. And then as you exhale, just release that out into the universe or, to whatever energy you may trust or choose to trust in. And our awareness then shifts to our physical body. And we'll take a journey around the body. Again, there is no physical movement involved, but you might find there are spontaneous movements. We're almost just following the light of our mind around the body. So we're guiding our mind's awareness around the body. You might offer kindness or rest or whatever works for you to each space, place, area. And our journey begins at the back of the head. Bring your awareness to the back of your head. Up to the crown of the head and down into the forehead. The right temple, the left temple, the right eyebrow, the left eyebrow, and the space between the brows. The right eye, the left eye, the right ear, the left ear, the right cheek, the left cheek, the right nostril, the left nostril, and the very tip of your nose, the tip of your nose, the upper lip, the lower lip, and both lips just gently touching. So they're not forced or pressed together, just gentle touch. And just for a moment, take your awareness inside your mouth to the teeth and the gums, the tongue, and maybe even any tastes in the mouth. Perhaps you've had some food or drink before the practice, or just the moisture in the mouth. Become aware of the jawline, allow it to be soft, the chin, the throat space. And become aware then of the whole of the head and the whole of the face with all your unique features. The whole of the head, the whole of the face. From the throat space, let's journey our awareness over to the right collarbone, the right shoulder, armpit, the right upper arm. Guide it down to the right elbow, lower arm, the right wrist, the back of the right hand, the palm of the right hand, the right hand thumb, first, second, third, and fourth finger. And the whole of that right arm and the right hand just resting exactly as it is in this practice of Yoga Nidra. Gently draw your awareness back towards the dip in the throat. And we come over to the left, just touching on the left collarbone, over to the left shoulder, dipping into the armpit, the left upper arm, elbow, lower arm, the left wrist, back of the left hand, palm of the hand, the left thumb. First, second, third, and fourth finger. And the whole of that left arm and left hand, just exactly as they are. And perhaps you can be aware of both of the arms and both of the hands. Maybe they're resting by the side of the body, on the body. There's no right or wrong. Bring awareness to the right glute, the right hip, the right thigh, kneecap, lower leg, the right ankles, heel, sole of foot, top of foot, the right big toe, the second, third, fourth, and fifth toe. The whole of that right leg, the whole of the right leg, just resting exactly as it is. Awareness shifts to the left glute, left hip, thigh, kneecap, left lower leg, ankles, heel, top of foot, sole of foot, the left big toe. Second, third, fourth, fifth toe. The whole of that left leg and the left foot. And then, much like the arms and the hands, can you find an awareness of both of the legs and both of the feet resting together? These heavier and slightly bigger bones and muscles, just allowing the legs and the feet to drift into the hold of the earth. We don't need to grasp. We can release that grip. Let them rest. Bring awareness back to where our journey began at the back of the head, back of the neck, the upper spine, the right shoulder blade, the left shoulder blade, and the space that exists between the shoulder blades, the spine. And as you exhale, just guide your awareness as far down the spine as you can. And as you inhale, just guide it as far back up the spine as you can. So you might make the journey of what feels like the entire spine, or it may just be parts of the spine. So just stay with that for a couple of moments as you exhale, send the breath and the awareness down the spine. And as you inhale, just gently draw it back up. Next time you inhale, draw that awareness back up. We'll come back to the back of the head, to the crown of the head, the forehead, and just gently witness once again the features of the face, down towards the throat space, the right side of the chest, left side of the chest, the right ribs, the left ribs, and down towards the navel. And let's drop our awareness all the way down to the belly button, or perhaps even a little bit lower into this sacral space. And just come back to the breath. Natural breath, but if it feels right and it helps you to kind of soften, then maybe you take a deeper breath in, just notice the belly rise. And as you breathe out, just drifting into the air. So, this movement of body and breath in unison. And is it possible, yes or no, it's fine either way, to find an awareness of the whole of our body, everything connected? The head and the face, the arms and the hands, the legs and the feet, the back body, the front body, what we are experiencing as the sides of the body. And knowing that our practices of yoga and this practice of Yoga Nidra is nurturing the inner workings of our body too. The whole of the physical body, everything connected, just exactly as it is, resting with kindness in this practice of Yoga Nidra. And we return to what is sometimes called sankalpa, but we know we can also call it affirmation or mantra. Was our word kindness or something else? Did we make a statement out of that? If so, just repeating that 3 times in the mind, clearly, confidently. And then we return to our count from 10 to 0. But this time it's a little bit different. As we come towards 0, perhaps we're just very slightly aware that our Yoga Nidra is drawing to a close. There is no need to move or do anything in particular. You can just continue to listen to my voice, be aware, and then I will let you know where to go after the count. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. this practice of Yoga Nidra is complete. So you might take a deeper breath and just be mindful that we've been in stillness, and maybe if you're laying down, you've been closer to the earth. So everything we do from here is just mindful, it's steady, and it's about regrounding ourselves. So we might plant the soles of the feet down or just touch the hands to the earth. You might have a little stretch out of your body or a wiggle as you start to blink the eyes open, just reminding yourself of the space that you're in. But if you want to stay in this still place and in this restful place for a while longer, then absolutely go for it. When you are ready to kind of move away from this space, just roll over to your side, give yourself a couple of moments there. Eventually push yourself up again, just a little pause, and go on about your evening. You might like to place the hands onto the heart just for a moment and just take a moment there to thank yourself. And thank you for joining me.